Hello and welcome to this week's video. For this week, we need to build a couple kayak racks or some way to store two kayaks. We currently have them stored in a way that's not ideal. And so we're going to try to repurpose some stuff and see if we can come up with a better way to store our kayaks. Well, this is how we've been storing our kayaks, underneath a tarp. We stack them up, put a tarp over them, and that keeps the weather off, and that's okay for a temporary thing. We've been doing this for, a couple years now. I wanted to put up a kayak rack, but as I look into that more, I feel like we don't really need a rack per se, but we can hang the kayaks on the side of a building much cheaper, and I'll show you what I've got in mind for that. We're going to, on the side wall of a little building that we have, we're going to put some boards, 2x6s running side to side. We're going to place them 32 inches up from the bottom of the building to the bottom of the board. Then from the bottom of the first board to the bottom of the second board, another 32 inches. Because our kayaks measure 31 and 30 on their width, so we want to make them about 32 inches. That way they for sure fit. And once those boards are secured in place, then we're going to run some straps. We're going to measure out, we want to be about 1.5 feet from the edge of the kayak. Not necessarily the edge of the wood, the edge of the kayak. So we'll run a strap and it'll go down and it'll loop around our kayak and come back up and attach to that same bracket. And this strap making this loop, we're going to put one at each end of each board. So that's going to be a total of 4. And we can get those for $18 a set of 4. So that's $9 per kayak. So a $9 kayak rack. Because all the other material that we need to do this, we already have. One thing that I've found a lot of times is for projects like this that don't need to be really beautiful, it's just a utilitarian thing, a lot of times I'll have enough leftover material or things that I can reuse or repurpose that I don't really need to buy anything. First things first, I need to get a few tools. I like these buckets. I have empty buckets around. I just throw what I want in there and I can carry it with me more easily. So this is the end of our building little studio, and we're just going to put 2 boards going side to side, one for each kayak. And the idea is to spread the load out a little bit, screw each one of those boards into a couple of different wall studs. That way it spreads the load. They're not that heavy, but still, just in case I miss the stud or something, or, because I'm finding it from the outside. I don't know. I like the idea of being in a couple different wall studs for several reasons. So that's what we're going to do. Now, I don't have any siding material on the end of this building yet, and that's fine. The house wrap that's on there is going to protect it. It's going to be fine. And the type of siding that we're going to use later on, I can go around this anyway, so it'll all work out. Yeah, you can't carry everything on a tool belt, so I do like these buckets. And another reason is we're using some old pre-used lumber from another project, and we had some screws to take out, and they are all bent and no good, so we'll just throw them in the bucket, and when we get back to the house, throw them away, take care of them the way they're supposed to. But for now, we can just throw them in the bucket. We don't lose them in the ground or in the grass. So here's our 2 boards on the side of the building, and what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to hang these brackets, and I have these from another project, so I didn't have to buy them. They're just leftovers from another project that I had. And so we're going to do that, and then we're going to bend some brackets. We have some old L brackets, and those are from another project. And what we're going to do is hammer them flat, well, flat-ish, like this. That way they can hold this piece onto the board, and yeah, it'll give a little dimple there for it to go up in. Another reason why we put the 2 boards on the side of the building is so when we put these brackets in place, we can put them anywhere we want. We don't have to put them exactly where a wall stud is. we can hang them based on where they'll be in relationship to the end of the kayak, so we can do that. Anyway, yeah, let's get started putting those up. That'd be good enough. So here we are up against our board, and as you can see, we even put two boards side by side. This doesn't have to be pretty. Nobody's going to look at this, so I don't see sense in spending a lot of money on it. And I ran out of brackets, but I had another kind of bracket, so I bent that one as well. Anyway, what we're going to do, and what we're doing here with these, if you don't have leftover material or you don't want to buy stuff like this, you could actually do this with rope. You could tie a loop in the top and have that stick out, take another board and smash it against to pinch the rope in between, and then you'd have your loop up here, which could hang down, and you bring it up through, or ratchet strap, whatever you want to do. There's all kinds of ways to do this, but essentially we're just going to take this, put it on like this, put screws in it, and then we'll have this like so, and we run a strap from here. We'll hook on, we'll run down around the kayak and back up and hook back on to here. All right, there we go. Even reusing some old screws that we had on hand. Anyway, we got them up. And we figured out the board here, we've got these about 8 feet and the kayak's about 10 feet. So this is in 1.5 feet from the end of the kayak, and the other end would be the same thing if they're centered up on the board. So I'm hoping that that's enough room. Each strap will be 1.5 feet in from the end of the kayak. The longer kayak is 11 feet, 11'6", something like that. So it's going to be a little bit further in. We've moved those out further on the board, but still roughly 1.5 feet from the end of the kayak if the kayak's centered on our boards. The other day we were working on that kayak rack and hanger thing. I guess it's not actually a rack. I don't actually have any spare ratchet straps that I want to use, so I guess I do have to go buy some. So we're gonna go get the cheapest ones we can get, because we don't really need the ratchets. I'm actually gonna get the kind where it has a little push button you push down. We don't need to tighten them up a whole lot. We just need to hold them snug to the wall. So since I'm going to town today, we'll stop by a hardware store. Got our straps that we're going to use here. Yeah, they're nothing fancy. It's just the cheapest ones I could get. Just these little press button ones. That's the ones that I got. That's all I really need. It costs like $18. Well, since we have this kind of thing here, I can open up this nut, open this gap up. I think what I'm going to do is take the strap. I'm going to put the hook, and I'm going to go through the loop like that. And then I'm going to take this part, and I think I'm going to put it through there too. And I'm going to close this back down. And I'm going to try to use them like that on all four. Here we are, the first kayak is on. Now what we did, you saw how we attached these up here. Well, this strap in the back comes down, and we had to put the kayak in place, and then we put a screw back here. If you can see it, the screw holds the bottom of the strap about where the boat's going to end up. So it's not perfectly straight. This is the loose strap, it's straight, but this is angled a bit. And we had to put that in there so the boat wouldn't tend to slip out. I would love to put that screw in place beforehand, and we kind of looked at that, but what we ended up doing was hanging the kayak and then pushing it out of the way and determining where the screw should be, and then putting the screw in to hold that strap. Without a screw there, this right here can slip out because of the shape of the hull. It can slip right out. So we put the screw in there to hold it in place. But yeah, this is pretty nice. It's fairly free It can move, it can do whatever, but it can't fall out because the bottom of the strap is screwed to the board. So now we're going to do the same thing for the bottom one. We're going to hang another kayak down low here. With the kayak above, we actually have a pretty good estimate of where this is going to end up. So we're going to put the screw in first. Less fooling around on the ground. Okay, here's what we're doing. We're putting a screw right there. We're using a washer head screw. If you don't have those, you can always put a washer on a screw. But we're just holding that end down so this can't go side to side. Ready to go. Okay, I'm up against. All got your way. So there we are. Both kayaks are hung. Shouldn't be a problem. So yeah, I had most of this stuff. Just had to buy the straps. So what, $18 to hang my two kayaks instead of paying a couple $100 online for a fancy kayak rack. We'll see how this goes. If we don't like it, we can always do something else, but I think I'm gonna like this. They seem to go in and out pretty easy. Seems to be really simple. So next thing I'm gonna do is just put a tarp up and we'll screw that down over top of them so that they can we can keep the sunlight off of them, and yeah, should be good. You just want to be careful not to have the straps too tight, and they're not tight. We just hand tighten them, just made them snug, just to hold them there. That's all there is to it. There's an old saying that hindsight is 20/20. In other words, when you look back on something, you can often see things more clearly. Anyway, so is the case on this project. Actually, I just thought I'd mention here, when I started this project, I just kept thinking I need a bracket that's going to swivel up and down. But quite honestly, now that we're done, I realize I don't even need this. You could do this whole thing just with the straps. I did not intend to put this screw down here at the bottom of the strap, but quite honestly, you could just start at the strap on the wall where the screw is and just run it up and screw your ratchet, or whatever you want to call this part, just screw that directly onto the board through the strap. As long as you have a washer on there to hold this down, or a washer headed screw, something like that, that would work. But there's certainly no harm in the way we have it here, and it's already done. So yeah, I originally didn't want to put a screw in the bottom of the strap, so I was thinking it would needed to hang freely, but yeah, I guess it doesn't. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. We hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done that. Check out our website, 9diamondranch.com, and yeah, thank you for watching. God bless you. We'll see you on the next one. Well, if you've enjoyed this video, please share it with your friends and hit that like button if you haven't done so already. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We put out new videos every week, every Friday morning. And if you'd like to receive notifications when we do upload the next video, hit that notification bell. And check out our channel. We have several videos just like this one or very similar. We do various things including hiking, biking, boating, fishing, builds of various kinds, mostly outdoor activities. Some homesteading is thrown in there as well. Thank you. We'll see you on the next one.